once I get turning, I'm losing my reference marks. So I need to memorize them now. I like to use this tool as my point of reference. The thickness is about 1 width of this tool plus a half, so 1.5. And here, a little bit further away from the center, it's more than 2 of these widths. And then here, down, all the way down here, it's about 1 again. So 1.5, 2, and 1. So unlike throwing, I want to run the wheel pretty fast. Throw slow, trim fast. I'm going to be bracing this tool, and the first thing I want to do is I want to address this area. I'm not going to do it by holding the tool like this. I'm going to do it by going from the top. Okay, now the clay is perfect. You see how it's coming off in threads? That's perfect. Now I did it once, I'm going to do it again. So do you see now we can trim here if we want because it's even. Same thing here. Sometimes this area isn't level and we're not going to trim it this way. That will make it worse. I'm going to go similarly from a different angle. And this way I can shave off the uneven areas. Now you can go on top like that. Okay, and I'm going to go one more time down here. Okay, so now I'm good to go. I've got this very centered and I've got this nice and level. We're good. Next thing I want to work on is developing the foot. I'm going to have the foot somewhere in this area. Okay, so this is the area I'm not going to trim, and the others I'm going to trim away. So now I'm going to switch to the round edge. When you hold this tool, it's very important to hold it at the right angle. This tool has a cutting blade, and you don't want to go down like this or up like this. You want to go in the 30° to 45° range, so that way you're cutting clay. And the other thing you want to remember is that you need to hold this tool firmly or else the pot will snatch the tool away from you. Now I want to be careful because if I go too far, I'm going to have a problem. Now I got to get this area caught up. Now, how much clay have I trimmed off? Well, this is my point of reference. Now remember I said I had 1 whole width of clay here in the center. So if I look carefully, I see that I've used slightly more than half. So I shouldn't go much more here. But over here I had 2 widths. So I still have a little bit of clay left, but not a ton. Now when you get close to the rim here, slowly back off so that you can transition nicely into the thrown areas. So now I'm going to be able to trim very closely in here. And I want to make a dome. So I want to go... I don't want to go that much further here, but I want to go further here because the inside of the pot has this curve, and I want to echo that on the outside so that it's even, the thickness is even. Remember, I'm trimming fast. Okay, I'm pretty happy with the inside of the pot. Now I'm going to work on making this foot. And I want the foot to be a little bit sculptural. Why shouldn't it be? So Let's see what I can do to make this foot a little more interesting. Remember, we're making handmade pottery. So why shouldn't it be interesting even on the bottom? And I can get rid of now some of this because it's not necessary. I want to get rid of all the clay that's unnecessary. I like to take my finger and compress this area because this area can chip easily, and if I compress it, it'll be stronger. And then I can carve this a little bit. This will help give us a nice crisp profile. And so now it's basically done, but it looks still a little rough. So let's see if I can just do a little more fine tuning and maybe some polishing. Okay? And the polishing can happen with the wood tool. And you just wanna, now don't press too hard when you do this. This way we can get the clay really smooth. Let's see. See how much smoother it is there? We'll do some other areas. I'm basically polishing wherever I know I won't have glaze. I don't want to glaze the foot because I worked hard on it and I want people to see it. Now I'm going to have glaze starting here, so I don't need to worry about down there. Now if the pot's too thin, you have to press with the wood tool very gently, so be careful. In this corner it's tough because the tool isn't really the right one. I need to have a smaller tool, but I don't have one right now. And I want to work with the tools that I've given you. Okay, let's see what it's like now. So that's a little bit finer. There's a little chunk of clay that I want out. I want a really crisp, clean look. I think I can do a little bit more. I'm almost done. Make sure you write your initials on your pot or a symbol. And when you take it off, don't use the needle tool. Find it's best to use the wood tool. Don't reuse these for the next pot you're trimming. So now we're ready to take off the pot off of the wheel. Do it carefully. And so here it is. What I'm shooting for is continuous curve on the inside. I'm shooting for a crisp profile, crisp, clean profile on the outside. I'm looking for harmony between the throwing and the trimming, and even thickness, and centered rim, centered foot, and maybe even a little bit of a sculptural foot. But let's see how we did. Now, what I'm going to find out with this is how even the thickness is. Now, I could have trimmed more here. You can see it's a little thick here, but it's pretty even. The foot, the dome, the body of the vessel. Thank you so much for your time, and the more you trim, the more you're going to love doing it. It's actually my favorite part of the process. You saw that awkward piece that we started with ended up becoming a much finer, more beautiful bowl.